Welcome back to Route Double. Miyoko Tenkawa, what is happening now? While connecting with Watase had become difficult as well. Natsuhiko intensified his concentration and used his ability. Watase, where are you right now? Eventually he seemed to just narrowly establish a connection, but... At that instant, Watase's intense agony propagated to Natsuhiko. 1 hour and 3 minutes, oh shit. Oh, this is going well. The rope wrapped around his neck was digging into his throat. Kazami put all her strength into her grip as she strangled Watase from behind. She had apparently taken the rescue rope Watase had left in Area 6's inner ring and brought it with her. All for the sake of killing Watase. Kazami's voice sounded pained. Though Watase was barely conscious, he was still able to make that out. Why? What does Kazami think I did to her? Kazami then spoke right after Watase had that thought. It was almost like she read his mind. He could never understand. Kazami's deranged thoughts were beyond Watase's comprehension. When he realized he was about to die without understanding a thing, Watase heard a voice in the corner of his mind. An auditory hallucination? No, that wasn't it. Do I look like I'm okay? It was telepathy from Natsuhiko. His voice was faint due to all the white noise filtering it out, but Watase could just barely make out his concerned shouts. Natsuhiko. Yeah. Watase tried to hold out for them, but it didn't look like they'd make it in time. I'm sorry. Watase mentally apologized to him. Looks like this is the end of the line for me. I really don't think I can hold out anymore. Things going black. Don't want to either, but I just can't. When Watase thought that, he heard another voice. This was no mental voice. It was actually coming from a person's throat. Kazami's strength loosened at that moment. Watase could make out Jun and Ena in the corner of his eye. They were about 5 meters away from him and Kazami. Ena took out her gun and pointed at Kazami. Oh fuck. Jun. あなたもWataseのお仲間ですか? そんなことどっちだっていいわ。いいから隊長さんを解放しなさい。さもないと撃つわよ。やってごらんなさい。その前に私はWataseを絶命させます。頭を一発で仕留めない限り死ぬ前に彼の軌道を潰してみせますから。何言ってるのお姉ちゃん。何言ってるって決まってるでしょ。Wataseを殺すと言っているのよ。Simple enough. そんなどうして？この人の名誉を守るためよ。Kazami answered Jun's question. この人はね、ジュン、テロリストだったのよ。今日死んだ人はみんなこの人のせいで死んだの。5人を殺した殺人者。Well, that part's false. Wataseなの。The first part, you could indirectly say that and be correct. This part's false. この人は英雄だったはずなのに。He did do a little bit of attempted murder on Natsuhiko and Mashiro. That is true. So that's it. Watase finally understood what Kazami had been talking about. He managed to wring out his voice out of his nearly crushed throat. Kazami.
お前、俺がテロリストだってことに気づいて、その犯行が明るみになる前に俺を殺そうとしてたのか。
ええ、私最初から言っていたでしょ。テロリストなんかいないって。それでいいんです。あなたはテロリストじゃなくてレスキュー隊長として死ぬんですから。シリウス A チーム隊長笠崎渡瀬はラボの中で事故に遭い殉職した。
An unfortunate rope accident.
それが核兵器解放後に外の人々が知る事実です。そうしてあなたは罪を晒すことなくここで死ぬべきなんですよ。
A faint thought entered Watase's head when he heard Kazami finish rambling to herself. Yeah, maybe that wouldn't be so bad either. That way at least he wouldn't sully the good name of Sirius. That way the truth about Dojima and Hyama would most likely be lost to the world. And the following story would be printed on tomorrow's paper. 3 rescue workers killed on duty in nuclear research facility accident. These brave men died honorably to save the lives of trapped civilians. Who would then accept these distorted facts as the truth? It's like how they were all lied to about the truth behind the fire 16 years ago. Then there would be no problems for anyone aside from those directly involved. Maybe it's the perfect way for me to atone for my sins. If that's what Kazami wants too, then... At that moment...
何言ってんだバカ。ユリとの約束破るつもりか。
Huh? Those words spurred Watase back into action. Kazami's hands trembled the moment Watase shouted. This caused her to slightly loosen her grip on the rope, allowing Watase to pull on it with all his might. Jun dashed forward at the same time. She took her army knife out. Cut the rope. Watase coughed violently, feeling all the pressure on his throat suddenly relent. Jun shouted in victory. But Kazami let go of the rope at the exact same time. Uh-oh, and pushed Jun away with all her strength. Oops. Jun's small body was sent flying hard into the wall. She then slowly collapsed to the floor. Oh goddamn. A crack then sharply echoed through the air. There she is. Watase and Kazami looked at Anna in shock. Anna had apparently fired a bullet towards Kazami's feet. Hesitation rose to Kazami's face for a second. He then picked up Subject N's body and ran off. Oh shit. Anna moved to pursue Kazami, but Watase immediately called for her to stop. Watase looked over at Jun, who was lying out limply on the floor. She had apparently hit her head. Anna fell silent at the same time that they heard Kazami running for Area 1. After a short silence, Watase heard Natsuhiko's telepathy echo in his head. Yeah, somehow. I see. Kazami's been completely consumed by the malice. How are things on your end? Control room? Got it. I'll be heading over there with Teach and Moribe. Once they finished answering him, then turned to Anna. Anna finally nodded. Watase then carried Jun on his back and started making his way for Area 4. Whew. After seeing the circumstances through static-filled vision, Natsuhiko returned to his own body and took a deep breath.
制御室に集まるよう言っておいてよ。
制御室？
母さんが用意したハッキングソフトでブレインセルの権限を奪うことができるらしい。それを手に入れてから制御室にみんな集まろう。
それは構わないけど、
But Watase.
あの渡瀬という男は私たちの敵なのでは？
今は味方なんだよ。サリュー、あいつは許せないとは思うけど、今だけは攻撃しないでやってくれるか。
For now.
全員で脱出するには渡瀬の力も必要なんだ。
わかった。今は夏彦の言う通りにする。
ありがとう、サリュー。
After saying that, Natsuhiko then used Senses Sympathy on Ukita. His connection with Ukita was plagued with noise as well. Where are you at? Natsuhiko mustered all his strength to send telepathy to Ukita.
おじさん、聞こえますか？
ああ、なんとか聞こえるよ。だね。
立花さんを除く全員の悪意を消去できました。一度制御室に集合しましょう。シェルターは扉が壊されてもう安全じゃないですから、真城も連れてきてください。
Mashiro was sleeping in the shelter under Ukita's protection. Ukita responded with a strained voice.
よし、それだ。
Appears he managed to get through to him. Good. Alright, simple enough. Natsuhiko returned to his body once more and reported to Yuri and Salio.
おじさんたちにも制御室に来るように言っておいた。僕らは一度母さんの研究室に行ってからハッキングソフトを持って制御室に向かおう。
わかったよ。それじゃあまた私が夏彦をおんぶする。ほら。
There was no time to be embarrassed about appearances, so Natsuhiko did as Salyu said. And thus they went to Area 5 and headed to Miyoko Tenkawa's office. They searched inside the room.
母さんが言うには部屋の奥の棚の下の方に。
And it was locked, just as she said.
夏彦、どいて。
あ、
Salyu kicked the cabinet door open. Nice going. Then a stuffed animal-shaped device tumbled out.
アリス。
いや、アリスと同型のアームズだよ。ってそういえばサリュー、アリスはどうしたんだ？
壊れると嫌なので隠してある。第4エリアの女子トイレの中に。
Oh.
なるほど。渡瀬が見つけられないわけだ。
じゃあこのアームズ、アリスちゃん2号は私が持っていくね。
Sounds good to me.
ああ、制御室に急ごう。
But right as Natsuhiko said that and they're about to leave the room... A note posted on the wall suddenly caught Natsuhiko's attention. Informational Field Self-Awareness Development Experiment, 9:16, 6 o'clock a.m. Uh-oh.
なあ、ユーリ。今日母さんは何かの実験をしようとしてたのか？
Informational Field Self-Awareness? What?
それで私も今朝早くから検査を受けてたんだよ。
そうなのか。じゃあ自我情報力場展開実験って何のことだ？
説明が難しいんだけど、簡単に言うと魂を作る実験だよ。
魂を作る実験。
For some reason, Natsuhiko got horribly caught up on those words. He knew this wasn't exactly the time to talk about it, but he couldn't help but ask questions.
魂を作る実験ってどういう意味だ？母さんはここで何をしようとしていたんだ？
Well,
ちょっと待って夏彦、それは今確認しなければならないこと？
わからないけど、なんだか気になるんだ。悪いけどユーリ、かいつまんで説明してくれ。
わかったよ。じゃあ説明するね。
Yuri quickly began to explain.
まずこれは博士の受け売りなんだけど、世界には BC 粒子が満ち満ちているよね。当然人の脳の中にも高エネルギーの BC 粒子が満ちてる。
Correct.
脳内の BC 粒子は脳に影響を及ぼすし、
PC 粒子も脳から影響を受ける。
Inside
実体もない
the
のに
brain.
確かに存在している。これって昔からよく語られるあるものに似てない？
意識。いや、それが魂か。
そう。もし魂というものが実在するとしたら、それは脳内に満ちる BC 粒子のことなんじゃないかって博士は考えたんだ。
That sentiment closely resembled the things that the subject ends inside of Watase and Ukita had said.
じゃあ仮に脳の外に高エネルギーの BC 粒子の塊ができれば、それは魂になるのか。
Equivalent of her forcing her own BC particles into someone else's head and essentially creating a spirit that lived in their memories? Like a low fidelity spirit that just existed in this one memory. Whatnot. Installed on this memory. And Miyoko's trying to do something to manifest a spirit outside of the brain?
そう。それを確認しようとしたのが今日の実験だったの。実験の内容は、まず WX 粒子増幅器を使って N エリアに500ミリスカラーバリュー前後の WX 粒子力場を発生させる。でも WX 粒子には何の情報も載っていない。ただのエネルギーの塊。言ってみれば空っぽの魂だよね。だからその後、私が N エリアに入って何時間も BC を使い続けるの。
BC？ 誰に対して？
誰に対してでもないよ。無差別テレパシー。何のためにそんなことを。つまり博士が実験したかったのはこういうことだよ。
I just put shit out there into the field. Will something take form?
もし私の脳内の全情報エネルギーを BC によって脳外に放出した場合。
And I assume this it's just something you can do perpetually. Like, you don't just run out of information and then you just get head empty. Mom spaghetti or something.
そこには私の魂がもう一つできるのか。
I suppose occasionally you can get hung up on something and get head empty, but... Something like an electric current ran down Natsuhiko's spine as he heard that question. Felt as if there was some sort of truth he never realized hidden within Yuri's words.
それで魂ってのはできたのかな。
I don't know, Natsuhiko. Some idiot blew up some fucking bombs.
できてないと思うよ。実験が始まる前にこの事件が起きちゃったから。
Before Yuri could finish, a voice abruptly echoed inside Natsuhiko's head.
止まれ！
What?
え？
What? Natsuhiko gasped.
止まれって。
Yuri and Sally both opened their eyes and looked at Natsuhiko. What?
今ヒコリテレパシー使った。
I'm sorry, what?
違う、使ってない。
That's right, Natsuhiko didn't use telepathy at all. Yet all three of them heard that voice. A voice that clearly sounded like Natsuhiko's telepathy. No, that's not all that strange. Why would I hear my own telepathy? And when that thought crossed his mind, the voice echoed once more.
脳が壊れちまえ！
What?
壊れろ、壊れろ、壊れろ、壊れろ！
Oh, this is bad. What the fuck? Was telepathy intense enough to shake their very minds?
なんだこれ。なんなんだ。
She screamed. Natsuhiko suddenly remembered. He had fired out that telepathy before. Oh, it was from back when he ran away with Mashiro in his arms and as Watase attacked them. Natsuhiko had fired intense telepathy in order to freeze Watase in his tracks. That was telepathy from back then. Why are we hearing it now? For a moment, he had no idea what was going on. Then he remembered one of Enna's lectures.
テレパシーによって発生した BC のエネルギーは発生と同時に減衰し始めるけれどすぐゼロになるわけではないわ。つまり超強力なテレパシーは対象者がいようがいまいがしばらくその場にとどまりうる。
僕のテレパシーが残り続けて。
さっきの声って夏彦が前に使ったテレパシーなの？
ああ、なんだか知らないけどそれが戻ってきたみたいだ。
We've created a hallway of endlessly screaming Natsuhikos.
情報エネルギーが残っちゃってたのかな。めったにない現象なんだけど。
Before Yuri could finish, another Yuri appeared in the middle of the room. Okay, what?
私がいる。
Why are you me? I'm me. What is going mental all of a sudden? It's a somewhat blurry, surreal visage. A phantom. Phantom of the Labo. With Natsuhiko at a loss for words, the phantom Yuri spoke. Okay, this makes sense because we know this happened in here.
だけどもう私がいなくても大丈夫なはずだよ。この数日の間に気づいたでしょ。ヒコリンは一人じゃないって。
Those words jogged Natsuhiko's memory.
これ有利の幻が消えた時の。
今度は私のテレパシーが戻ってきたの。
That was the telepathy Yuri had used a few hours ago to separate Natsuhiko from the phantom. It was high-grade telepathy that worked not only to cause an auditory hallucination, but a visual one as well. As soon as they had realized what happened, the phantom disappeared. Kids murmured in dumbfounded shock.
どうして何度もこんなことが。
Good question.
どうしてだろう。WX 粒子が蔓延している状況下で私たちが何度も BC を使ったからかな。
Makes sense.
情報エネルギーが残留しやすい環境だし。
そうか、それだけならいいんだけど。
Yeah, hopefully there's nothing malicious going
原
on.
因が分かれば別にいい。今はそんなことよりやらなければならないことがある。おしゃべりはいい加減切り上げて先に行くべき。
そうだな。
Indeed, they couldn't just stand there forever. Three kids took Alice number 2 with them as they headed towards the control room. But dun, dun, they took too long. There's Kazami, dragging Watase out of the control room by his neck, looking at them going, "Garbage day?" Just kidding. Meanwhile, Watase carried Jun as he headed for the control room with Enna.
重くない？隊長さん。
ああ、平気だ。
Though for you to be honest, his body was so exhausted that it was taking genuine effort to carry her. His leg was also still in pain from being kicked by Sally, but he did his best to try and endure it. Deserve at least this much pain anyway. Just when Watase thought that, he heard Jun groaning behind him. Hi, Jun. The sound of Watase's and Enna's voices seemed to have woken her.
目覚めたか。
体調に抱えられてたの私。
ああ、気を失ってたもんでな。
そうなんだ。
Hey, Captain, do you remember that time you carried me in the
これか
distant
ら制
past?
御室でみんなと合流する。もうすぐそこだから、このまま背負われとけ。
そうする。
In hindsight, this is probably a very concerning bit of rationalization Jun has to work through now. Confirmed, Watase is a terrorist. Watase is also the hero who saved her life. Jun hesitated for a moment, but decided to go along with what he said. We them continued traveling for a while in silence. Jun eventually broke the ice.
さっき夢を見たよ。
夢？気絶してる間にか？
どうかな。もう少し前かもしれない。
Jun said that uncertainly. Watase was still curious, but he decided to ask a different question.
どんな夢だよ。
子供の頃の夢。9年前、6名私立団地のガス爆発事故に遭ってレスキュー隊に命を救われた時の夢だよ。
Watase gasped when he heard that.
お前、それって。
ねえ隊長、ようやくわかったよ。隊長があの時のヒーローだったんだね。覚えてる？あの時も私は隊長に運んでもらったんだ。
Watase silently nodded in response to Jun's whispers.
覚えてるよ。お前が配属されて顔を見た時に思い出した。
どうして言ってくれなかったの？
言えるわけないだろう。俺はもうお前が思うヒーローなんかじゃないんだ。
そんなことないよ。
Jun then spoke to Watase as if to break herself free of her sorrow.
隊長はみんなを助けるため必死になってくれたじゃない。隊長は今も私の憧れたあのヒーローだよ。
Watase couldn't nod to that declaration. Still dealing with the pain of what he did under malice. What Dojima and Hiyama did under malice. The fact that they died under his terrorist watch. Hero. Me. Jun had no idea of what was to come. Watase planned on going back to Q with Yuri in tow once they got out of here. If I don't, Watase didn't speak any further. Nor did Jun or Anna. In the end, the silence between them all remained unbroken. And they made their way out of the connecting passageway. Once Natsuhiko's group made it to the control room, they found Ukita and Mashiro already there.
マシロ、
Sally rushed up to Mashiro as soon as she saw her.
マシロ、どうしてこんな。
Watase enters. Yeah, sorry about that. Sally looked at Mashiro tearfully. Apparently her blood transfusion was over since the kid had been disconnected, but Mashiro was still unconscious. Sally's calls were left unanswered. Unfortunately, Mashiro is not powered by rank S rage, so it's gonna take her a bit while to pull through this.
誰がマシロをこんなに傷つけたの？
それは
About that, as Natsuhiko stumbled with his words, Watase, Enna, and Jun arrived. Watase let Jun down and spoke.
夏彦。
For some reason, Natsuhiko couldn't say a word. Before things went completely silent, Yuri spoke up.
これで8人揃いましたね。
ええ。あとは立花さんだけ。
Sally interrupted Enna.
待って。私は正直全然状況がわからない。誰でも構わないから説明を要求する。なぜ真白はこんな重傷を負っているの？エナは何者なの？なぜ私たちに心を閉ざしていたの？浮田は内通者だったの？違うの？純は全員のレスキュー隊員なの？それともテロリストの仲間なの？そしてその男、渡瀬。
Sally glared at him.
あなたがテロリストだということだけは疑う余地はないけれど、真白を傷つけたのはあなたなの？
About that.
だとしたら、私はやっぱりあなたを許すことができない。
Sally's stifled voice echoed in the quiet room.
待て、落ち着けサリュー。
落ち着けって、これが落ち着いていられるわけがない。答えて渡せ。あなたは今日 何をしたの？
俺は
Watase sunk into silence with a bitter look on his face. Crap, I knew this would happen. He understood how Sally felt, but they couldn't afford to waste time here. It would take way too much time to explain everything from the beginning. Can we get her to understand with just a rough explanation? As Natsuhiko hesitated, Watase softly started to speak.
サリュー、お前の言う通りだ。
やめろ渡せ。
Watase ignored Natsuhiko's warning and continued.
俺がその子を傷つけたんだ。どういう事情があったにせよ、俺がその子を撃ったのは事実だ。すまない。
Oh no. For a second, Natsuhiko thought he saw intense killing intent emanating from Sally's small body.
許さない。
Everyone immediately started trying to hold Sally back.
やめなさい三宮さん。仕方ない事情があったのよ。
そうだよルイーズちゃん。
この男は確かにテロリストだが、その一方で
うるさい。どんな事情があってもこの男だけは許すわけにはいかない。
Sally shouted and started hitting Watase. Sally's fist sank into Watase's face, her leg into his stomach. Watase gave no resistance and allowed Sally to keep hitting him. Anna frantically held Sally back and Yuri screamed bitterly.
お願いやめて。隊長さんがマシロを撃ったのは BC のせいなの。BC で悪
It's not gonna...
意よ。うるさい。
Nobody could stop Sally. Natsuhiko thought desperately. Is there nothing we can do to get Sally to understand? Some way to get her to see the whole story of what happened today? Senses sympathy? Most of what happened was beyond describing. Reason why Watase became a terrorist. What Yuri felt these past 9 years in confinement. What Mashiro felt these past 9 years watching over Natsuhiko. What actions brought Jun, Enna, and Ukita right here to this moment? It's impossible to explain it all. Words alone could not truly convey all their feelings. The moment that thought crossed Natsuhiko's mind, he recalled a word Yuri had said just a moment ago. BC! That's it, with BC we can convey all the feelings that words alone cannot. To everyone here. Natsuhiko took that flash of inspiration and concentrated on it. He recalled what he had heard in class. BC isn't limited to conveying voices and emotions. Theoretically, it can convey sight and other senses as well. It can even convey a large amount of information instantaneously. That's it, the opposite of senses sympathy. The reverse of reading memories, I'll convey my memories to everyone else. Not even Natsuhiko himself knew if that was the correct thing to do. Perhaps that too was nothing more than him abusing his abilities however he saw fit. It's probably the only way I can put a stop to this fight. Determination roused Natsuhiko's memory. His sharpened concentration caused his senses to fade. Every sight he saw and sound he heard up until now came forth from the back of his mind.
Saryu!
Salyu gasped and turned around. During that fleeting, ever so short moment,
サリュー、みんな見てくれ。これがここにいる8人の辿ってきた道だ。
Whoa! Natsuhiko put all his strength into using BC. Just then, his brain loaded its information onto BC particles and released them into the world. Without Natsuhiko confirming any characteristic brain waveforms, the non-directional BC, the untargeted telepathy, reached everyone's brains. The memories depicted in Natsuhiko's brain. Everyone's minds connected and experienced the same things through the same perspectives and same senses. Watase's past, Yuri's feelings, Mashiro's history, and everyone else's. And everyone's personal experiences of today. Watase's terrorist plot and its failure, the existence of Subject N and her malice. The bomb's time limit, Kazami's current status. All that information rose up in the span of a split second and then... vanished. I get through to everyone. Natsuhiko eased off his concentration and his senses returned. Before his eyes, he saw Sally and the others standing stock still in shock.
隊長さんの過去が
They muttered with hollow voices.
いや、彼の過去だけじゃない。
ユーリの記憶も夏彦の記憶もそれ以外も。
Did I do it? Natsuhiko turned to look at Sally with bated breath. She spoke with a shamed look on her face.
ずるい。
ずるいって？
他人の心がわからない私が今初めて人の気持ちを理解できた。そこにいる渡瀬のことでさえ。
And now when I don't want to understand, I just want to beat the shit out of him. You made me understand him. Sally glared at Watase.
少しだけあなたが理解できてしまった。渡るの死の悲しさもラボの連中に対して抱いた怒りもテロリストになった理由も夏彦に記憶を消されてからはみんなを助けるために全力を尽くしたという事実も。それでも許す気にはとてもなれないけど
I mean, that's fair.
今だけは殴らないでおいてあげる。
That's all we can ask for. Natsuhiko clenched his fist firmly at those words.
感謝する。
Watase spoke with genuine regret. Natsuhiko whispered to Sally.
ありがとう、サリュ。
Sally nodded ambiguously. Natsuhiko shared the knowledge he had with everyone in the room. But it was not as if he had conveyed every single thing he had observed. He tried to hide things that some would not want others to know about, and he only intended to convey the parts relevant to each individual's beliefs. As a result, perhaps everyone's mutual understanding was a little lacking in some regards, but I'm sure it'll be okay. I'm sure everyone here could come to terms with each other at least a little, regardless. That was what he had hoped. Even if they couldn't understand each other, they could at least come to terms with each other. Everyone's tense expressions softened ever so slightly.
サリュちゃん、確かに隊長さんはマシロンを撃ったけど、でもね、気絶していたマシロンを救助して手当てしたのも隊長さんなんだよ。わかってる。
Sally switched her gaze to Mashiro.
それがなければやはり許すことは。
Natsuhiko looked at Mashiro, too, and then he noticed something. Her eyes were slowly opening. Hey!
真っ白？
夏彦。
真っ白？目が覚めたのか？
Mashiro nodded groggily and quietly stood up.
サリュ先生、皆さん、さっき私も全部見てきました。私が倒れている間に何が起きたのか、さらにみんなの過去も。
Hey, so you're all caught up. Welcome back, Mashiro. It's good to have you back. Mashiro then looked at Yuri.
そしてユーリが過ごした9年間も。マシロ。
When Yuri said her name, tears spilled from Mashiro's eyes. Aww. Mashiro hugged Yuri.
生きてたんだね。生きててくれたんだね。マシロ。ごめんね。何も知らなくて。私だけが辛い思いをしてるなんて思って。ユリは誰にも何も言えなくて、ずっとこの地下で9年間も。いいんだよ、マシロ。
Tears spilled from Yuri's eyes as well.
私なんかのために泣いてくれてありがとう。 私マシロンに会えてよかった。マシロンと友達でよかった。大好きだよマシロン。
Aww. Oh. Two girls hug each other in tears. Natsuhiko and the others watched them silently. Nobody said a thing, because without a word, the two girls' feelings were conveyed to everyone else. Eventually, after the two girls had stopped crying, Mashiro shamefully spoke to the others.
いや、皆さんお恥ずかしいところを見せました。
The time she said that with an embarrassed smile, Mashiro was back to the same girl she usually was.
いいのよ、鳥羽さん。思いっきり泣くべき場面よ。
うん、美しい光景だったね。少し焼ける。
Oh. Mashiro and Yuri blushed to hear the girl's words. Well... Watase no Ikeda said nothing, looking sad. Mashiro appeared to be afraid of them, but she seemed to be holding it back. With everyone's feelings in mind, Natsuhiko spoke up.
皆さん、おかげでようやく8人足並みが揃いましたけど、知っての通り、未だ全員揃って脱出できるかどうか怪しい状況です。
Everyone's faces froze at that statement.
爆弾のことだね。
そう、渡瀬が仕掛けた爆弾がゼロエリアに眠っているんです。
Watase spoke uncomfortably in response to Natsuhiko.
しかも爆弾が爆発するのは核兵器解放のわずか1分後。
Natsuhiko glanced at Brain Cell's monitor. It displayed the time, 18:19.
あと40分足らずでこの施設は吹き飛んじゃうのか。
Shit, we're really getting down to it. Thanks to Natsuhiko's untargeted telepathy, not even Mashiro needed to be brought up to speed. Everyone had the same information and spoke their own opinions.
橘さんを捕まえて悪意を消去することができれば全員揃って脱出できるんじゃ。
BC で橘風見を呼ぶことはできない？
Assuming her heart would be open to
難
us.
しいんじゃないかな。各エリアの WX 粒子エネルギー量はもう1ミリスカラーバリュー未満まで下がってるし。
Oh wow.
いつの間にそんなに？ついさっきかな。いつからか1時間あたり2000ミリスカラーバリューくらいずつ下がってたみたい。
それもうなずける。みんな、あれを見たまえ。
Akita pointed at Brain Cell's monitor.
お忘れかもしれないが、ブレインセルのモニターには核兵器の解放予想とともに N エリアの WX 粒子エネルギー量が表示される。現在 N エリアのエネルギー量は2789ミリスカラバリュー。しかもどんどん下がっている。
Now that you mentioned it, the monitor indeed displayed that value. The value began decreasing to 2788, 87, 86. Once the value reached 0 millisiville, the bulkheads would probably open.
なるほど。N エリアがあそこまで減衰してるなら、他の各エリアがそんなに低いのもわかるな。
ここまで粒子が減衰しちゃうと、エリアを挟んでの通信は無理だろうね。
それに風見はかなりひどく悪意にやられちまってた。仮にテレパシーが届いても来てくれるかどうか。
Their facial expressions became strained.
じゃあ、道は2つだな。40分以内に橘さんを見つけるか、あるいはゼロエリアに降りて爆弾を解除するか。
安全を期し後者を選びたい。俺たちレスキュー隊員は爆弾解体の技術も持ってるしな。
That's handy.
そうなのか？そんな話聞いたことも。
センシズシンパシーで読まなかった記憶もたくさんあるということさ。
Feels like he's gotten more comfortable with this whole BC thing. Now that you mentioned it, that was a natural conclusion. It wasn't as if Natsuhiko had read all of Watase's memories.
そうだね。それにテトリル爆弾が爆発すれば施設の周りにいる人が巻き添えを食うかもしれない。レスキュー隊員としてそれは見過ごせないよ。
誰かを巻き込むのはやはりな。
Natsuhiko nodded.
では、母から教わった通り、 ブレインセルをハッキングしてゼロエリアへのエレベーターを動かそうと思います。
To be fair, Q provided the bomb. Ukita and Watase were just the pawns to execute the explosion.
権限を奪うのに必要なのは3人。3人だけ制御室に残って他のみんなは地下に降りますか？
いや、全員で降りることはないだろう。俺とモニベで十分。
待て、僕も行く。当事者だしね。
ならば私も。サルちゃんも？近頃の爆弾には必ずデジタルプロテクトがついているはず。私ならアリスを使ってそれを簡単に解除できる。レスキュー隊より早い自信はある。
Oh, okay.
なるほど。頼もしいな。
That's promising. Everyone nodded.
じゃあハッキングってのは私とユーリと夏彦でやろう。
私は上に残るわね。橘さんが現れた時の護衛のために。
良さそうだね。
All 8 people exchanged glances. The Area Zero team, Watase, Jun, Sally, Ukita. The Control Room team, Natsuhiko, Yuri, Mashiro, Anna.
よし、それじゃ始めよう。
Oh shit. Oh shit. Let's do it. Everyone mobilized at once. We're getting to it now. First, Natsuhiko's group connected Alice number 2 to Brain Cell. Authentication screen appeared on the 3 control terminals. Alice number 2's monitor displayed a manual which they referenced to confirm the security nullification process. Meanwhile, Watase's group gathered the necessities for disarming bombs like tools and liquid nitrogen. They took a can of metal-grade liquid nitrogen from the infirmary. Along the way, Sally retrieved Alice number 1 from the girls' restroom.
よし、こっちは準備万端だ。
Then Area Zero. The Area Zero group then gathered in front of the Area N elevator. After confirming they were ready, Anna, the go-between, rushed into the control room.
天下君、いけるわよ。権限を奪って。
よし、やるぞユーリ、真城。
And then the kids simultaneously operated the terminals. Brain Cell's monitor changed completely to display a list of all the installations in the facility. Only got one chance, we have to finish everything within 30 seconds. They scrolled through the gigantic menu screen and showed the security settings for Area N and Area Zero. They then negated the security clearances for both areas so that the elevator could be activated freely.
よし、これでいけるはず。
確認してくるわ。
Anna dashed out of the control room. Eventually, an alert came up on Brain Cell's screen. Illegal access detected. Revoking access authorization. The alerts continued. Activating reactive barrier. Shutting down illegal access originator. As soon as that screen appeared, Alice number 2's monitor suddenly shut down. Oh no! Yuri panicked and tried touching Alice number 2. Oh fuck! No matter how much she touched her or shook her, Alice number 2 didn't move. Okay, I was scared that she was gonna, like, administer shocks or something.
壊されたの？
そうみたいだ。
I'm sorry, Alice number 2. Watase's team hadn't gotten the news in time, and they were totally out of options. As a thought crossed Natsuhiko's mind, Anna returned.
先生、どうでしたか？
成功よ。隊長さんたちは地下に降りることができたわ。
Yuri cheered. Natsuhiko took a deep breath and pumped his fist.
さあ、それじゃあ爆弾のことはサルたちに任せて、私たちは橘さんを探そうか。
ダメよ、鳥羽さん。あなたそんな重傷なのに、さっき輸血が終わったばかりじゃない。施設内を歩き回るだけでも十二分に危険なのよ。
でも、
Once Marshall said that, a certain idea struck Natsuhiko.
いや、歩き回る必要はないかもしれませんよ。思いついたんだよ。橘さんを呼び出す方法を。
Natsuhiko smiled as he came up with the answer.
来てくれるかどうかは賭けだけど、とにかく第3エリアに移動しよう。
Time trick. Once Natsuhiko and the others had overridden security lockouts, Watase, Jun, Ukita, and Sally arrived at Area Zero. Senior fellows that Watase had brought down with him on his last trip were there. On his last trip, they were lying dead by the elevators. Watase had resigned himself to their deaths, and everyone else knew about their fates due to Natsuhiko's BC usage on them all earlier. So none of them were surprised, but I'm sorry. Watase still felt deep regret about the whole thing. Jun put her hands together in prayer for the two lost souls, then looked around.
ラボのさらに地下にこんなところが。
耐震度地下エリア。ラボの中枢だよ。
Okita looked away from the bodies and muttered to himself. Sally said nothing. She just looked at the ceiling with dull eyes.
爆弾は被験体 N の部屋に仕掛けてある。行こう。
Watase led everyone to the room in question. When they got there,
これは
Jun couldn't help raising her voice in shock.
被験体 N の拘束医だ。彼女はここに吊るされていたんだ。
いや、そうじゃなくて。
Not that? I mean, that's the most jarring thing in this room. Jun looked around. Not the straitjacket, but at the entire room. That's not a straitjacket, that's a straight cocoon.
どうした森部。
なんでもない。それより早く爆弾を。
That's a fucking Venus fly straitjacket. The group ran over to the bomb set in the middle of the room. Oh, there it is.
テトリル爆弾。
そうだ。他の爆弾より起爆装置も凝っている。傾斜センサーと光センサーについた
Tilt!
解体困難な代物さ。
まったくテロ組織らしいチョイスだな。
でもデジタルプロテクトを解除すればなんとかなりそうだね。
わかった。まずプロテクトを解く。アリスを接続するので液体窒素を。センサー系が死なないと何もできないから。
おう。
Watase then took out the liquid nitrogen can. Watase then took the liquid nitrogen can out of his pocket. He was then about to use it on the bomb when... He suddenly noticed something.
どうしたの隊長？早くしないと爆破時間が。
いや、その爆破時間のことなんだが。
Everyone looked at the bomb's timer when he said that. The digital countdown displayed the time remaining until the explosion. 39 minutes 16 seconds. 39 minutes 15 seconds. 39 minutes 14 seconds. According to Watase's watch, the current time was 5:37:47. Oh, did Q fuck them over? It was then that Watase realized, did Q screw them over? No, that he remembered it.
おい、この爆弾の爆破時刻18時17分にセットされてるよな。
それが？
おかしいんだよ。俺は核兵器の解放時刻の1分後に爆弾をセットしたはずなんだ。なのにさっき制御室で見た核兵器解放時刻は18時19分。2分足りない。爆弾は核兵器が開く前に爆発しちまうんだよ。
Everyone gasped. Bomb's timer wasn't off. It was the lockdown timer that was off. It was now scheduled for just a few minutes later than when Watase and Ukita had first checked it.
そういえば変だよ。私らが捜索を開始した当初、制御室に行った時。
Okay, so what? Did Labo get ahead of this and decide to try and... That... It's weird that Labo would try and just sink themselves if Labo did this.
あの時もブレインセルには核兵器解放時刻は18時16分って表示されてた。
なぜいつずれたの？
わからん。誰かが核兵器の解放時刻を変えたのか。
いや、そんなことは不可能だ。ブレインセルは N エリアの BC 粒子エネルギー量を測定し、それに基づいて核兵器の解放時刻を自動設定するんだ。核兵器の解放時刻が後ろにずれることなど普通はありえないんだよ。
もしずれるとしたら？
まあ粒子増幅器がもう一度暴走でもして BC 粒子のエネルギー量が高まればあるいは
Something about Ukida's explanation clicked in Watase's mind. The fire went off again.
遅い。今なんて言った？
Haywire again.
WX 粒子増幅器がもう一度暴走。
違う、その前だ。ブレインセルは核壁の解放時刻をどうやって自動設定するんだ？
それは N エリア内の BC 粒子エネルギー量を測定し、それが1ミリスカラバリューまで減衰する予定時刻を解放時刻に設定するんだよ。
Just then, numerous pieces fell into place in Watase's head. The fact that Natsuhiko had been lying unconscious in Area N for a long time. The auditory hallucination he had heard for 6 hours. Senses Sympathy. Communicators. BC particle energy levels.
わかったよ。核壁の解放時刻がずれた理由が。BC 粒子エネルギー量を増幅させていたのは WX 粒子増幅器だけじゃない。
Was Natsuhiko?
夏彦だ。夏彦も6時間にわたり N エリア内のエネルギー量を増幅させていたんだよ。あいつは N エリアでずっと BC を使い続けていたんだからな。
Oh shit.
そうか。WX 粒子増幅器から出るエネルギーと夏彦君自身が放出するエネルギー、それが合わさったことで N エリアの BC 粒子エネルギーの総量を少しだけ上げてしまったのか。
Shit, that would do it.
じゃあブレインステルが核壁解放時刻を再計算して。
Yeah, why did I say that Q was gonna thug over Watase? They both wanted to get the test subjects out. No, if their plan would have gone right, then Watase, Ukida, Dojima, and Hiyama would have gotten out well before the lockdown ended. And it wouldn't matter when the bomb went off. It wouldn't matter that the bomb went off a minute after the lockdown ended, because it would kill the gang, the terrorists if they were still stuck in, and the opening salvo of the Labo super army when it went off a minute after the lockdown ended. So there would be no motive to change it to a minute before. This makes a lot of sense, actually. Shit. Watase instinctively held his head. I mean, we're here to disarm it, so...
核壁解放時刻が後ろにずれて爆破時刻の2分後になっちまってたんだ。
We're here to disarm it. Everyone's eyes widened at those words.
まずいよそれ。夏彦くんたちに伝えなきゃ。
いや、そんな時間はない。
だいたい伝えたところでどうなるの？事態は好転しない。
Correct answer, Salia.
はあ。
Calm down, and let's do what we came here to do. Despite his words, Watase was feeling intense regret. Though he'd already set the bomb, he figured the 9 of them could just wait for the lockdown to lift and escape as soon as that happened. With the bomb set to go off before the lockdown ended, freeing Kazami from her malice wouldn't matter in the slightest. They would all die in the explosion. God damn it, this can't be happening. If it would have happened if we hadn't set the bomb to begin with. Just Watase thought that. He heard some noise coming from the ceiling.
なんだ？
He looked up in surprise. When he did, he heard Natsuhiko's voice coming out of a speaker built into the ceiling.
橘さん、聞こえますか？
Meanwhile, Natsuhiko was up to some shit. Went to the surveillance room with Yuri, Mashiro, and Enna. Since they had no way of knowing whether or not they could reach Kazami with BC, they decided to call out to her directly. They sent her a message using the PA mic that Watase had repaired.
あなたが渡瀬を殺したいと思う気持ちはわかります。あいつに失望し、せめて名誉を守ろうと思ったことも。渡瀬はあなたの思っていたように、本来は人を救うことに命を懸ける男だったんですから。
Natsuhiko's voice echoed throughout the facility.
だけどその心は曲がってしまいました。16年前の同時多発火災、それの真相を隠蔽した者たちを憎むあまり、彼は死んだお姉さんの敵を取ろうとこの事件を引き起こしたんです。でもそのテロ計画が失敗し、多くの犠牲者を出し、計画に賛同した堂島隊員と檜山隊員も命を落としました。さらには巻き込まれた少女被験体 N も許せることではないと思います。だけどこれだけは言わせてください。渡瀬の本性はテロリストなんかじゃない。記憶喪失になっていた間のあいつの頑張りを立花さんも見たでしょ。あいつはとてもいいやつで、無力なくせに心だけは強くて、人を救うためには自分の命も顧みず。
Natsuhiko mentally recalled the image of the Watase that once was. How he used his body as a shield to protect Yuri from the collapsed ceiling. How he headed to Area N alone to extinguish the fires he thought were there and save everyone.
僕は渡瀬ずっと見ていました。あいつはテロリストですが、記憶を失い、本来のまっさらな渡瀬に戻った時、
Pure distilled Watase.
現れた本性は英雄だったんです。このテロ計画を練っていた時も、あいつは常に人の命を奪わないよう注意を重ねていた。
That failed, due to circumstances beyond his anticipation, but he tried.
テロリストとしての記憶が戻ってからも、必死でみんなを助けるため走り続けてきた。殺すには惜しいと思いませんか？
Indeed, that was what Natsuhiko thought at the time. He didn't want Watase to die. It didn't matter what kind of person Watase was now. The fact that Yuri was alive was unmistakably thanks to him.
僕も立花さんの手を怪我させたくはありません。渡瀬の罪は公の場で裁かれるべきです。そのためにもみんなで生き残って外に出るべきじゃないですか。この9人の誰一人欠けることなく。
By getting out of Labo alive, Watase's crimes would not disappear afterwards. Neither would the memory of his day of wrath before the crime. Even so, he should live so he could atone. Even if purgatory awaited him outside, he should live to see the days after.
そして立花さん、最後に告げておきたいことがあります。あなたが抱えている少女、被験体 N。その子は強力なコミュニケーターです。その子が生前にまき散らした悪意に満ちた BC。それによって渡瀬もあなたも心と記憶を歪められていたんです。僕らはあなたを元に戻してあげたい。厳しくて優しいいつもの副隊長さんに戻ってほしいんです。来てください。僕らは監視ルームで待ってます。
Natsuhiko left that long message and ended the broadcast. He turned around. Yuri, Mashiro, and Anna were waiting for him.
ヒコリ夏彦あんたね、ちょっと甘すぎだよ。
A touch.
これで隊長さんも少しは反省するかもね。
Yeah. Natsuhiko smiled wryly at those words. Hopefully, that is. Natsuhiko prayed that his announcement would resonate in Watase's mind and help give him a change of heart. In the whole taking Yuri away thing. That hope was nothing more than hope. There was a more pressing matter at hand for him to take care of.
さて、あとは立花さんが来るのを待とう。
The others nodded at those words. Raven's determination. Meanwhile, in Area 0, we're gonna save the game, and when we return... no new tips. We're gonna save the game. When we return... Bomb disarming. It definitely feels like getting into the end game now. We're all straight up. This is. I know occasionally I mentally drag on some parts, But this has been all smooth, all good, exciting stuff. I'm into this right now. I'm really into this right now. Really. The hype, the anticipation is building. The end is approaching and I'm getting hype. Oh, we're almost there. The end is in sight. Until next time. Until then.